Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first Q&A of this year. We have, as always, many questions that got to me during the holidays, and I'll start with an interesting one, well, a highly interesting one for me. I thought I would help you out, but this price is way too high. So yeah, that's a quote that I got. So something like, what do I do with this? Well, we talked about weaponizing niceness in negotiations and some other things, and this is basically weaponizing reciprocity, right? I thought I would do you a favor, and you disappointed me by stating your price. Shame on you. That's not nice, for starters. And, gee, thanks for wanting to do me a favor and get the value that I bring to my clients. No one asked you to do that. No one asked you for a favor. So the most straightforward answer to that is, oh, I wouldn't want to take advantage. Bye. But okay, let's say you don't want to do that. You can ask, why do you feel that this price is too high? So you can completely disregard the fake concern over reciprocity. You can overlook the favor because it's not a favor. It's a ploy. As usual, you can talk about the value of outputs, the value of the end state. What do they want to achieve? What do they get by you doing your job for them, right? Not inputs, not hours, not days, not pages. No, outputs and outcome. And then does that make sense in the context of the price that you set? Maybe they don't want to talk about it. Sometimes they don't. That's fine. You don't have to talk about it. Go away. Do something constructive with your time. This is the usual kind of stuff that you can get from clients. So why do they even feel that this is a favor to you? Oh, well, because then I would say to all of my friends that you're good if you're good, right? And you'll get more opportunities. You'll get so much more work. You'll get exposure. I know designers really like the proposal to being paid in exposure. If they say something like that, well, you can't tell me that's not a thing for you. That's not an issue for you. Firstly, sure you can. And secondly, how does that work? Can we quantify that? What does it mean, exposure? How exactly will you drive that exposure? I mean, if you're offering to take me to lunch with 5 of your peers and something comes out of it, yeah, I'm willing to cut you in on for a finder's fee or something like that. But that has nothing to do with this job right here, right? And usually they're not. They're just trying to trip you up. But you can challenge them. You can challenge them to quantify that. And even if they spin a story that seems half plausible, think about this. Would you rather have 3,000 euro right now or 12,000 maybe in a couple of months? Now, not now. It's 4 times more money, maybe. Most people would rather have 3,000 now. Thanks. Because more often than that maybe doesn't really pan out. So if they start to quantify things and things really do look useful to you, think about the 3,000, 12,000, right? And then think again. And if that sounds good, okay. But that's usually not going to happen. They have no plan. They're just trying to trip you up. So in most cases, if somebody starts with, well, I was going to do you a favor and get a huge discount from you, you can safely know that this is not a good client for you. So a sub question, what if discounts are simply expected in my industry? I simply have to offer them. You don't have to do anything, but you can be expected to do something like that. You have to excuse me. My background is in business analytics, but also marketing. When somebody tells me everybody in my industry is doing X, whatever X is, for me, that's a great argument for doing something else. Whatever it is, just not that. Okay, let's say it's expected and you don't want to go into a confrontation with your client. You're not like that, or you can't afford that, or it doesn't really matter. You don't want. You can say, yeah, there's a discount. It's already calculated in the price. you can actually do that. They might not like it. They don't have to like it that much, but there's discount. Here it is. You can, of course, actually grant them the discount that everybody else does, but actually ask for something in return. Now, people think, well, then I have to lose something. That's not necessarily correct. You see, normally when people think about negotiations, they think about, well, it's my job to get as much money from them, and it's their job to go as low as possible with the price. And the truth is different. The truth is that you want to have maximum profit from them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you want to take as much of their money. And how can both be true at the same time? Well, let's say, counter to the first question, that they're prepared to do a proper testimonial for you. You can ask, okay, yeah, 10%, no problem. If you give me a 2-minute video testimonial that I can put on my website, if you're happy with the service. Now, this is not you asking for a favor later. So you make a great job, you make a great impression, and they're going to give you, no. This is part of the deal, right? They're getting the 10% discount because they're going to give you a testimonial if they're happy. So if they accept your work and they use it and they don't give you the testimonial, then you charge them the 10% extra because they didn't provide you with what was the deal to get that discount. It's a completely different thing. So testimonial is a good idea. A direct referral to somebody named. So you use LinkedIn and you know that they're connected to that guy, and you say, well, okay, I can give you the 10% discount if we can have lunch, you, me, and that guy. You arrange that, you pay for the lunch, right? Again, you can say if you're not happy, if you're not going to accept my work, if you're not going to use it, you don't have to refer me, of course. All of these things work much better if you're actually proficient, but most people looking at this have no problem with proficiency, no problem with doing their craft, being good at their craft, right? Okay, so a joint PR article, the permission to make this project into a case study that you're going to use on your website. Now, like I said, all of these things can get you more clients and more revenue and more profit from this case, from this very project that they want you to do for them. And they don't cost them directly anything. It costs them, 10 minutes of preparation for the testimonial, and they can probably spare that more than they can spare the 10%. But you get more profit from it, although they don't pay more, right? It's not always about the direct monetary benefit. But yeah, 90% of it you want to get right now, and the 10% you may get, but then the payoff is much greater. Then the payoff is not 3,000 or 12,000, it's 2,700 now and maybe 20 to 60 later. That's a good deal for you, right? So yeah, if the discount is expected, you can give the discount, provided that they give you something back which doesn't cost them money, right? It will cost them something. But when they look at your price, they don't just see the monetary value. They see the monetary value and risk that they go into by choosing you, and they see the convenience, and they see some benefit for their ego, right? They're going to feel good afterwards, or they're going to feel like they got a good deal, like they're a capable negotiator, even if they're not. If you have to give discounts, get something in return. Can I affect my price by changing the way I present myself? So can your pitch affect your price? Yes, absolutely. Yes. When somebody asks you, what do you do, right? We usually say a noun. I'm a doctor. I'm a consultant. I'm a designer. I'm an accountant. And while that works somewhat, you are relying really heavily on their knowledge, well, their stereotype of what you just said, right? What do you do is a bunch of verbs, not a noun. Now, this noun, everybody knows what a dentist does, right? Not really. And not in the modern age. Yeah, fixes teeth. That's not one thing. That is not one thing. That's a million things on a million different levels. right? Let me give you a different example. What do you do? Well, I'm a junior IT consultant. What does that mean? It has a huge range of meaning, from I can barely explain Excel to an aging client, to I can take care of, half of your work while you concentrate on golf and not worry about it. That's a huge range. That potential for misunderstanding. So, okay, this person may be the very thing that I need, but also maybe somebody who will just bring me damage, right? Will just damage my case. And that potential for misunderstanding is perceived by risk by clients. So when you expose them to verbal risk like that, they will keep your monetary costs as low as possible, just in case. So remember, it's monetary value, convenience, risk, ego. So you saying something vague will increase the risk of that they actually misunderstood that you can do something which they need you to do, but you can't really do that. So they're going to keep the one part of the cost which they can control, which is the monetary part, as low as possible. So if they can't understand what you actually can do for them, they're not going to be willing to pay you much, just in case. Maybe you're great, then they're going to have great profits. And maybe you're bad, and then they're not going to lose too much money. It's rational. So if you present yourself in a way that they understand your background, they understand what you can do, they understand any guarantees, they understand the references that you give them, right? If you just quote something that is gibberish to them, they're going to nod their head politely, but they're not going to understand much. And then they won't be willing to pay you much. Think about this. The more different from your colleagues you seem to your clients, the more they'll be willing to pay you. Because firstly, they'll understand how to differentiate you, and also they'll probably have a sense that they can't really find another person like you easily. If you just say, I have a diploma from an ID college, so do thousands of other people, right? But if you did a project like this and like that with these parameters and it turned out like that, very few of the people with diplomas actually did something like that. So that will actually increase your cost way higher than having a credential that thousands of other people do, even if it's a pretty high credential, right? Even if it's hard to do. Now, a similar question here, although it may not seem like that, is I recently lost a bid for a job where I would be their guardian angel. This may seem a little vague. Guardian angel means the best thing that ever happened to them. You see a job and you see you're perfect for them. You're exactly what they actually need, right? And then you go in and you present your price and they take somebody cheaper who is absolutely not on the level that they need. That happens. And I'm sorry to say, but that position is like being a Klingon peace diplomat, right? Or the alien from the Aliens movie, coming to offer peace to humans of Earth. They don't understand you, and they think they know what to expect from you and what's your intent and what's your deal. And you can either learn to speak their language or go do something else. There's no way that they're going to be able to understand you in your own language. I'm not talking about English or not English. I'm talking about technical language. I'm talking about process. I have this wonderful proprietary 7-step something, something, something. And then we do this analysis, and then we do that analysis, and then we code, decode, API, something, gibberish, right? I can do all of the necessary analysis for that. There are some analysis that are necessary. Nobody really cares how the sausage is made, right? So don't talk about that. Talk about outcomes. Talk about their bottom line and how do you affect it. And if you don't, tell them what is going to be different, what they think they need to be different, what they actually need to be different. What difference do you make, even if you don't make direct difference to the bottom line? Will they have more time? Will they be more pleased with themselves for any reason? Will they smile more? It doesn't really matter, right? You have to know what kind of effect you have on clients. And if you don't know that, ask your past clients that. Hi, I know we had a great project behind us. I'm just writing something for my website. Can you tell me what was actually different before and after our project was done? You would be surprised by the answers. It probably doesn't have anything to do with the elegance of your solution or many of other things that you may think about or worry about. It will have something to do with the change in their day or in their bottom line or something. So then you know what to tell future clients. This will be different. And that's the only way of you getting the recognition needed to go to a client that really needs you and actually getting the job. I know I do my job better than them, but how can it be okay to steal clients from colleagues? Okay, well, stealing is a charged word, right? You can't steal something that is not theirs. Let's say a colleague works for some client which would probably get a better deal by working with you. And I'm not talking about lower price. Yeah, it's very bad form and it's not recommended in any way. And I absolutely do not condone undercutting your peers or colleagues, right? So because reasons that the client is paying your colleague 12,000 and you come in with the 11,000 price tag. That is absolutely not okay. And that actually brings you into a price war with colleagues and everybody loses in a price war, basically. There are whole industries which were decimated like that. But if you talk to your colleague's clients and you offer them a higher price tag, let's say a significantly higher price tag, at least 30%, and they, based on some other qualities that have nothing to do with price, decide to go with you, you didn't steal anything, right? And even if somebody says you did, you can say, look, they don't know me, but they do know you. Now, if they think that my work is a better deal, even with a significantly higher price, that means you're bad. Well, maybe not bad, but worse. They would not go with a higher priced option if you were at least satisfactory to them. And if you're not, then you're not doing a good job. You don't have to be that direct. You don't have to say that, but know that if you didn't undercut them in any way, if you didn't trash talk them, if you didn't say anything bad about them, you just described the new situation that the client could get, and you didn't undercut them in price, you're not stealing. You're providing a better option, and the client would be irrational not to take it. And you would do the same, and your colleagues would do the same with some other specialist from some other industry. That's perfectly fine. So can it be okay to steal from colleagues? No. But getting a client with a higher price tag than the colleague is not stealing and is completely okay. I've seen cases where colleagues would, they would have some clients which didn't know better and they charged them way too much for what they were actually providing, which was a low price. And then somebody else came, which was actually serious about what value they should provide with a higher price tag and get the client. And I think that's perfectly fair. I mean, another word for colleagues is competition. And another word for competition is colleagues in many cases. It's a fairly clear-cut deal. If you can win without going low in any way, it's fine. I hope all of this was useful to all of you, and I look forward to continuing the Q&As in 2022. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.